Test, 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 test. Testing, 1, 2.
We're good.
Looks like we're good.
Okay, yeah, I think we're good. Welcome everybody to Death by Daylight. Finally, the Triumphant have returned. We're going to do things a little bit different this week, so that we make sure we get all the technical stuff right, and we don't say anything too important before we figure it all out. Thank you for bearing with us, and if you're live, make sure that you comment. Make sure that you leave as many, make sure you interact with us and talk to us, and make sure you're taking your shots at home. We are your Friday excuse to get hammered by yourself in quarantine. I am here with Ernie.
What up, everybody? How's it going?
I'm here with Jesus.
What's going on, guys?
I am here with Darrin.
Hi, hi, hi.
And I am here with Juan.
Hola.
Hello, everybody, and again, welcome to Death by Daylight. Let's go real quick before, Jesus, you're already getting into the game, right?
Yeah, I'm going to start up a game real quick. Today I will be playing as the Hag, also known as Lisa Sherwood. So just a little quick little backstory on her. She was walking home one day through the woods. Storm came about, knocked her out. She woke up in a dungeon with some cannibals. She used witchcraft to go ahead and survive that by making a symbol. You'll be seeing some of the symbols that I'll be using with her today. And her body was never found again, and she haunts her old town that she used to live in. So,
fuck yeah, that sounds badass. Let's go over what everybody's drinking, starting with you, Ernie. Go ahead.
Well, I'm drinking a White Claw.
White Claw, excellent. What about everybody else? Jesus.
I'm gonna have to ditto that and drinking a White Claw. I meant to get a margarita, but I grabbed this real quick so we could start.
Very popular, these White Claws. Very popular. Darrin's shaking his head right now. Darrin, what are you drinking?
Don Q Puerto Rican rum.
What? You're not drinking brandy?
Well, if every episode's gonna be like, I'm drinking brandy. Are you trying
to say something? Because every episode I'm like, oh, I'm drinking a White Claw.
White Claw. At least change the flavor, bitch.
Fine,
now,
we'll get a Truly next.
This is the real mystery. Juan, are you drinking?
Yes, I actually am.
What are you drinking, buddy?
I'm having a Sol Chelada, and then I'm gonna have a White Claw afterwards.
Yeah.
A Sol Chelada, delicious. The best chelada out there. Sol Cheladas used to only be available in select bars and over the border until about a year and a half ago, and they made their way to almost every bar in El Paso, and they are delicious. I myself am drinking a fresh squeezed IPA from Deschutes, one of my favorite beers in the entire world, as well as a gift from my dear friend Ernie, some Mellow Corn Kentucky whiskey. So Southern Gentleman Josh might come out tonight a little bit. It is very hard to drink.
There is a new chelada though. It's a Salty Lady chelada, and that shit is fire.
Yeah, so you'll learn, I guess, more about our tastes as we go. But I don't like sour beers. I've been stuck on the IPA train for about 5 years now. Ernie likes sour beers, and particularly Salty Lady is one of your favorites, right?
Yes, it is. It's probably my favorite sour for sure.
Excellent. So the way we're going to work this episode. Let's just go. We're going to take one step at a time, but for this first step, we are going to be just playing the drinking game. So, Jesus is already in our load screen. Corey Wooten says, "Who are these losers?" Thank you, Corey.
Fuck you, Corey. I know who you are.
Thank you, Corey, for watching, even if you think we're losers.
Why are you bashing our
He's a friend of mine. He's an idiot, but he's awesome.
He also said just kidding. We're also kidding. Any negative things we said.
Fuck you, Corey.
I love you, Corey. This is Juan, by the way.
Thank you for hanging out, Corey. So the way we're gonna do this, Corey, and the one other person watching, is that we are going to take a shot. Once Jesus gets to 2 kills, we'll take a shot if he gets to 4 kills. But every time he gets a hook, you're more than welcome to take a sip of anything that you want to at home. So that's how we're going to do this first segment. We're not going to get into the witches parts of this live stream until after that first game is over and Jesus starts playing the survivor part. And for the killer part, we're going to be doing this and just talking shit to Jesus while he bumbles around the map and kind of talk about what's going on maybe with us and that kind of thing before we get into any actual subject matter.
Well, let's see if you guys actually drink tonight, guys. I'm probably the worst one that actually plays in this group. I don't really play killer that often, so I mean, let's see if you guys even take one shot. Let's see if you even take a sip, maybe due to thirst, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be sipping beyond the law of the drinking game because, I mean, it's Friday. It's been a long fucking week, so.
Friday.
Oh no! We can't start seeing this early.
Removed.
So, while we're in the loading screen, let's talk about a little bit about what you've been doing with your quarantine. Specifically, because I talk to the rest of these assholes all the time. Darrin, what are you doing with your quarantine?
I'm working on like video editing and like working with like Adobe After Effects and just kind of doing this shit that I kind of went to school for. Like I'm just expanding on the shit that I'm supposed to be having a job in instead of arts and shit. So
yeah, absolutely. Do you want to give a shameless plug for your bar? The bar that you are in charge of.
Not particularly.
While we're doing this.
No, not really. I'm just kidding.
All right.
International, downtown, we're not open now, and hopefully we'll be open in 18 days, but we'll see how that goes.
This is you suck.
I know I do. Fuck this guy. I found you. What's up, girl?
Darrin is one of the premier bartenders in the city. Has won several awards as well as gone to a national competition.
Shit!
That's one.
Oh, we've got a hook.
Nice. Now hit her.
Toxic.
Yeah. So Darrin is one of the best bartenders in the city. He works also, when we were allowed to do that sort of thing, at a place called El Velvet Elvis, which is also fantastic, and lets me perform there, so they get a shout out also.
Chasing a baby Dweet, guys.
Nope.
Oh.
It's another hook.
That's a shot, huh, boys?
That's a shot.
I think we're waiting for a kill, right?
Oh yeah, kills.
Yeah, we're taking shots every hook. This podcast is going to last 4 to 5 minutes. For everyone that's joining, because we are getting some people that come in very briefly, we are now doing the drinking game for the killing part. Every time he gets a kill, we'll be taking a shot, and you're more than welcome to take a sip every time he gets a hook. And then we'll be getting into the witches segment of this whole thing as we go later. Please comment and interact with us, and we'll make sure to give you a shout out and try to steer conversation or answer any questions, especially right now during the drinking game. We would love to answer any questions that you have or talk about things that maybe you want us to talk about. Yeah, that's it.
Damn, another hook, another drink. I may have underestimated you, buddy.
I underestimated myself. Oh, there she is. Alright, come on.
I feel like I don't know if we should tell the audience that Jesus has been practicing all week with the hag, or if we should just let them think he's really good just randomly.
You just said it, so...
I mean, I'm not really good. I mean, if you look at my ranking...
Yeah, that's how we just fucked that up. What the fuck is the teleport for?
Tontalo says, "Yeah, I got a question. Who are these losers?" That maybe that should have been.
Drop
He said. He said it's just
Killer.
Corey on his PC.
Damn it.
If you press circle, you can drop her and kill you. More, you know.
Yeah, I do.
You fucking dumbass.
See? That's why I suck.
This is so mean, dude. It's so much pressure too to have all your friends watching you do this.
Last time that happened, I was in college, and, well, she wasn't really bad.
That's gross.
I got a kill.
Oh, what? Oh, he did get a kill.
Excellent. Yeah.
Right,
I love it.
Come here, Claudette. Come here. Oh,
So we're gonna
drop
take
it?
shots. We're just gonna take a shot then, since that might be it.
Come on, come on, come on.
Nah, you're good. They're still on 5 generators, so you're actually doing good.
I thought the generator. I was under the impression there was only 4 generators.
No, it's 5, buddy.
5 generators.
Oh, there you go. Here's another kill.
Yeah.
You guys ready for this?
Boom! Let's do it. Get him.
How you do it? There you go.
The fact that he's about to get his his second kill, and
All right, look at that witchcraft shit right there. Eating
Damn, that's fucking sick. That's fucking cool. Juan, Santiago Garcia says you sit to pee.
Oh, I guess everyone knows that now, huh?
Yeah, I'm like Tom Brady.
Hey, what the fuck?
Oh,
Now you gotta defend him, huh?
You watch your fucking Santiago Garcia. I agree with you. Juan does sit to pee. Didn't fucking appreciate that at all. Go Bucks.
So we gotta take a shot now.
Yeah. Let's take a shot. Let's take a fucking shot.
If he gets his 4K, we're taking another shot, and we're getting nice and toasty for this podcast.
Nice and fucking toasty. Everyone at home, we're gonna take a shot. Jesus has got 2 kills, and they still have 5 generators. So here is, let's take a shot to which is our subject for the night. Toast. Cheers.
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 Where did you go?
Wow, you're on pace for your 3rd kill.
Juan, you're getting roasted here in the comments.
Yeah, I know. Those are the kind of friendships I have.
Freddie says, "Damn, the cat's out of the bag now."
What's up, Freddie? How's it going? We are doing the drinking game now, but we're actually all watching Jesus play this time.
I see you, Steve. Oh, I completely
no, not
missed.
Steve.
You better. Cheers,
You got him.
Get that, Steve.
Yep.
Boom! What's up, Steve? Oh,
Ooh.
Steve.
Dead. That's
What about Nancy, bro?
Is there more in there? Oh.
Is she playing?
No, there's no
No.
Nancy.
Nah, I just feel bad because her friend is dying.
Her ex-boyfriend?
They're still friends, guy.
I am rooting for that baby Dweet. Let's get the hatch. Let's
Find that
get the
hatch.
hatch. I don't want a shot.
You think this fool's gonna get 5 generators without
He can
without
escape through the
Jesus
hatch
killing
now.
him? Oh, if it's only 1, he can get out.
Yeah.
Oh, for that question about if you can straight up kill in this game?
Yes, excellent.
It's basically a perk that you can just add on. And you basically, if you have it, there's different versions of it where you can kill everybody after you've hooked them at least once. There's another where you can only kill 1, and there's another where you can kill the last survivor remaining.
Ah, he got out of the hatch.
Oh my god.
Yes, baby Dweet. Baby Dweet.
You got away. That was really damn good though. Only one generator got done.
Oh, I killed a level 3! I bet they're pissed. I got killed by a baby killer. So, those who don't know, the lower the rank, the better they are. So, 16, starting off at a 20, I'm not really that good. I mean, these two guys, I'm over here blasting them. Let's go continue that.
What's the lowest rank you've ever been, Jesus?
The lowest rank as a killer, this 16 right now. The lowest rank as a survivor, an 8.
Okay.
So
you won.
What was that?
What's the lowest rank you've ever been, killer, survivor?
Killer, I think 16, because I don't really play killer unless I'm just trying to get points. But for survivor, 2 is where I've peaked so far. I know where you're going with this, so I hate you.
So Ernie has been a 1 before as a survivor.
And an 8 as a killer.
He had help from his wife.
I don't have a wife.
Oh no, that was me. My bad.
So, Freddie says, so aside from movies like The Witch, Autopsy of Jane Doe, and The Blair Witch, what other witch-themed movies are worth watching?
I wonder what Josh is gonna say.
No, he said The Witch.
Well,
no, he said The Blair Witch.
No, he said The Witch and The Blair Witch Project.
You know what witch movie used to scare the crap out of me? That one witch movie where they turned these kids into mice. It's by the same writer of James and the Giant Peach, Roald Dahl or something like that. The Witches.
Dahl.
It's called The Witches. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so Darren is going to talk about a movie that's worth watching, other than those movies.
Well, I don't know if it's as scary. Like, it's not scary. It's kind of like if Clueless was a witch movie. Like, I don't know. Like, anybody relates to that? No? Alright, cool. But, like, it's made in the early 90s, so it's like, it has grunge music in the back, and it's like trendy. It has that, that guy from Scream, the bad dude. Skeet Ulrich?
Okay.
Oh, yeah, Billy Loomis?
Yeah.
Well, that's his name in Scream. Yeah,
he's in there, and then the Bobby Boucher's girlfriend in Waterboy, Waterboy, she's in there.
Vicky Valancourt?
Vicky Valancourt, she's like
shows the bulk.
Yeah, like kind of like the white trash, like strong ass witch, like she's kind of evil and shit, and you know, like it's like high school and witches and shit. But I mean, I'm
gonna give it to you straight, Freddie. You hit all of the stuff we're gonna talk about as far as movies are concerned. I'm gonna talk about The Witch because it's one of my favorite movies, witches or not. So I'm definitely gonna talk about it. We're not gonna talk about The Autopsy of Jane Doe, although it was fantastic. Maybe we'll bring up a little bit, and then Blair Witch, fucking awesome. But we're gonna talk about some actual witchcraft. We're gonna talk, if you believe in that sort of thing, I guess. We're gonna talk a little bit about American Horror Story Coven, which I don't like American Horror Story, but a lot of people do. So we'll talk about that a little bit. And then we're gonna talk about the 3 movies that you mentioned, in addition to Salem. Not only the real life Salem, but the ways that it's been depicted. Also, there's a lot of really good depictions of witches in shows, like in Supernatural. There's a couple of witches. In Penny Dreadful, there's witchcraft. Sabrina, the Netflix show, there's a lot of really good witchcraft in there as well. And so we're gonna go
witchcraft. Talk about witchcraft.
Salem. Let's talk about the horrific trials of Salem.
The fucked up shit where they accuse innocent fucking women of witchcraft. It's pretty fucked up because it was just 3 little girls that were acting weird, and they blamed 3 people. One of them was a homeless girl, one of them was a slave, and one of them was an old woman. They blamed them for throwing their fits in particular ways and shit. I think honestly the kids had fucking autism back in the day, and they needed someone to blame, so they blamed these poor women.
Jesus.
The thing that I can just imagine how shitty it feels. Like, you blame these 3 women for witchcraft, and then 200 other people get accused of it. A whole bunch of women get hung, or hanged, whatever you want to say.
It's definitely hanged, but go ahead.
And then a year later, it's like, oh hey, they weren't witches. Sorry about that. Yeah, all these women died, but there was also a man that they killed because he didn't want to talk. They just kept laying stones on him until he died.
Yeah, so they had a lot of really weird ways to test whether or not someone was a witch. Like, they make fun of it in Monty Python and the Holy Grail, where they're like, if she's a witch, she'll be made out of wood, and that means that she would float. So what else floats? And they're like, a duck! And then they see if she weighs as much as a duck, and if she does, then she's a witch. But the other thing they used to do is they used to just throw them in the lake, and if they drowned, like, they would tie them to stuff, because a witch is obviously going to fly away and save herself. So they would, like, tie them to bricks and cinder blocks and shit and throw them in the lake and then just drown them, and they'd be like, oh shit, I guess she wasn't a fucking witch then. And
that's gonna be an awkward conversation with their family.
So, and this was happening all over the world. Like Salem, so 30 women died at Salem. We think, we're not exactly sure, but this was happening all over the world.
There's 20 people that died, but they accused like over 200 people. This started like right after they started accusing people of like witchcraft in like England too. So it was just like a whole big thing.
And so there's just an undocumented. There's no way to tell how many women in these tiny little towns and stuff were accused of witchcraft and then were killed because of it. If you were thought to be overly promiscuous, if you were thought to be particularly rude or ornery, you could be accused as a witch. If you had a third nipple, you could be accused as a witch. It was called the devil's mark, and they would accuse you of being a witch. If you had a particularly weird-looking butthole, you could be accused as a witch.
If you were left-handed?
If you were left-handed, you could be accused of being a witch. Lots of really... What?
You got a third testicle.
Third testicle, you could be accused of being a witch. Yeah, I mean, lots of really great scientific tests to figure out if you were a witch or not.
I heard that if you were to like bestiality.
Here we fucking go.
Chicken. Oh yeah.
Corey says that if a local pastor didn't like you, you would be considered a witch, and that goes for almost anyone in power. Local pastors, mayors, police chiefs. Whoever didn't like you, they could accuse you of being a witch, and you're done.
Presidents.
Well, there was like people that like dudes wanted to sleep with them, and if they didn't want to sleep with them, they would accuse them of being a witch. They could just get killed. So it was pretty fucked up.
Yeah, and I mean, so there were a section of people practicing witchcraft that far back, which leads me into something that I've been dying to talk about, shamelessly dying to talk about, which is the movie The Witch, stylized with 2 V's as the capital W. The Veach, yes. So this movie really just... So I love horror movies that are outside of the box as far as not doing jump scares. There are literally no jump scares in the movie. There are like places with loud music, and there are places where you're kind of surprised by things, but an actual just like jump scare, there you really can't even count one. And it was still really, really scary and unsettling and creepy and super well done. And there's a lot of really subtle details in the movie that are just absolutely fascinating. So tying this directly to Salem, something that they were accused of in Salem is called making a flying ointment. And you would have to take a bunch of really gross ingredients, including like frog's eyes and bat's wings. But you would have to have the flesh of an unbaptized child that you would mix with all this stuff and then smear all over yourself, and apparently it would make you trip like acid, like for 3 or 4 days.
What?
What?
Acid? Did acid, huh?
Yeah, acid.
I guess the lust of a baby, and what else was it?
I mean, just a lot of really gross shit. The list goes on and on about how to make flying ointments, but apparently it also made them, I mean, this is the part of the lore, right, is that it made them actually fly, and that's how they got their powers. In The Witch, they never say the word flying ointment, but that's clearly what she's making when she steals the unbaptized baby. There's a lot of really wonderful imagery of the forest. As a matter of fact, when the music gets the most creepy, it's just a shot of nature. There's very few shots where the actual witch or the old hag woman is where the creepiest of music is. A lot of it is the forest, the isolation, the family fighting. All of that stuff is meant to be the creepiest part. It is heavily implied that Black Phillip turns into the devil at the end and has sex with the main character, so that's right up our alley as far as animal sex is concerned. If you're new to this podcast, that was kind of a joke, but also somehow we always end up talking about animal sex. So I just really love that movie, and I want to know if you guys liked it or not. I know some of your answers already, but definitely would like to hear from the rest of you.
Real quick, why is this dude drawing triangles on the ground there?
That's how he can teleport.
I went from 3Ks to none.
Yeah, Jesus is getting dicked on like really bad. It's hilarious.
And then I completely fucked up.
Stun.
I completely fucked up. Oh, there's one.
Just open
so
the gate.
Are we gonna play those the rules? If he doesn't get any kills, he's got to take a shot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm good with that.
Anyways, my opinion on The Witch, when I initially saw it, I didn't like it. I was really hyped up for it.
Right.
But I mean, I thought it was cool. Like you said, the imagery and stuff. It was just super slow and creepy, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that it excels in minimalism in a way that a lot of horror movies don't. The one that comes to mind immediately is The Conjuring. There's some creepy stuff in The Conjuring, but mostly it's jump scares. Like, mostly that's what it is. And that shit, honestly, I can't fucking stand it. It's like, it's just super cheap. All you're doing is turning up the volume and making a quick shot of something. And so my favorite movies, again, are stuff that doesn't have that kind of stuff. Juan, what do you think about The Witch? I know you watched it and you said you had some questions.
You know what? I saw it one time, and it was a good movie, but it wasn't a movie that I could try and like, hey, I'm gonna watch this again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now that you're talking about all that whole, like with the ointment and all this, I actually wasn't even aware of that. So I'm actually, now you got me thinking, like, wow, should I actually try and go back just to do a little bit more research on it? Because I guess a lot of the imagery and all that stuff does play, I guess, some sort of role in everything. I guess you got to really know what you're watching to understand it. If not, then it just seems like, I don't know, I kind of get that feeling of like, all right, do I really need to really know what's going on in front of me to really enjoy this or not? You know what I mean? Because I can honestly say I was almost falling asleep, but...
Yeah, I think... Go ahead.
Did you hang somebody?
I killed one person.
Yeah, he hung that bitch off the rope, dog. This shit was crazy.
I don't want to...
what that
Why
guy...
did you only kill the black one, Jesus? That's what I want to know.
I didn't.
No, she wasn't black.
Both black people got away, dude.
Racist. Oh, so Freddie commented that I guess he got that same vibe like The Village, which again, it's a good movie, but it's another movie that is just like, it just made me fall asleep, and I saw it in theaters actually.
I really liked The Village.
So did I.
I didn't love the M. Night Shyamalan twist at the end. Like, I think he's had better twists. But the movie is really creepy, and again, it has that like minimalist vibe to the cinematography, and there's a couple of jump scares, but it's not over the top, and he doesn't rely entirely on that to make it creepy. Like, what's creepy is like the atmosphere and fucking what's his name, Edward. Damn it, the guy with the nose.
The guy with the nose. The dude from
Brody, Adrian Brody.
Adrian
Brody's like his whole character. That kind of the lore behind the creatures coming into town and the red and the yellow, all that stuff is really well done. So I agree with you, Freddie. I think they give off a similar vibe. And I think The Witch is a movie that's worth, if you didn't like it the first time, I really think it's worth that second watch. The guy that directed that made a movie that came out last year called The Lighthouse, with Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson. Not nearly as good, but I enjoyed parts of it for sure. It was a lot of fun to watch with my friends who were expecting it to be bad because they were kind of right. So, yeah.
I have a question. Earlier, Darren was talking about like a grungy type of like witch movie. What is that about? Like I don't know what movie you're talking about.
Your segues just fucking kill me,
like,
bro.
It's like witches in Seattle, like the grunge witch movement. Like,
no, it's not. They're not in Seattle. They're in California. Okay, the thing about the movie is that like it does talk about like their culture and how witches are close to nature. Like, I mean, they're all about nature. And in this movie, they try to invoke the spirit. This dude named I think it's McCall. And he's like the god of nature. They try to invoke him to like affect shit around them, and they do like love spells, and like some chick makes this other chick's hair fall out. But like,
are you talking about the fucking Craft?
Yeah.
Yes.
I literally said that
twice. Oh, I didn't hear that part. My bad.
But yeah, I'm talking about the Craft. Yeah, because it like, I mean, it's not as like brutal as like a lot of these witch movies, but at least it does talk about like kind of like the lore behind, you know, witchcraft and shit like that. So
it's a fun movie.
It's like a goofy movie or what?
No, it's not goofy. It's just kind of like if Cruel Intentions. I said that like if Cruel Intentions was a witch movie, or
it's a drama.
Bitch, you said Clueless.
Yeah.
Just think a bunch of like misfit teenager chicks that are, you know, that typical '90s vibe. You know what I mean? It's like somewhat of a drama. It's cool.
Is it cheesier than Sabrina?
No. Sabrina's actually just like cheesy to be cheesy. It's like Carissa explains it all, but a witch thing, I guess. If anybody can relate to that, but it's just like it's probably what like the show Charmed. Does anybody remember that shit?
Okay.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah,
well, I'm pretty sure Charmed took all of its inspiration from this movie. Like that's what. You know, it has the same music, you know, the three chicks, whatever, like...
I'll watch anything with Vicky Valancourt in it, if I'm being honest.
And you should really check out this movie, though. Yeah, she's a devil in this movie, though. She's a crazy bitch in this movie.
You've never really seen this movie, Ernie?
No.
Jesus.
No, I haven't either.
It's a good movie.
It's a good movie, yeah. So, like I said, it's not as brutal.
It also has Neve Campbell... what's her name from Scream? The main chick?
Yeah.
Oh.
And her thing is that she has like burn marks on her back, and like she's very self-conscious about it, and then she uses the witchcraft to kind of fix that about herself.
Oh.
She becomes a
bitch though.
That's a good reference. It's like, what point did cinema stray from natural earth powers to drawing powers from devils and demons?
Oh, I'd have to do a little research, Freddie. I think that, well, first of all, Megan says that she loves that movie and that it's on Netflix in case anybody's interested in watching it. But I think a lot, like, people are way more interested in, it's easier to say devils and demons and the occult and things like that than it is to say that they're drawing their powers from the earth. Like, it's just easier to make the trope of the demons and the devil stuff, because you see that way more than anything else. Although all the movies that you talked about before, as far as the Blair Witch Project and The Witch, and what was the other one that was mentioned? Oh, and The Autopsy of Jane Doe, which for me are all on the Mount Rushmore of witch movies. None of that really. So The Autopsy of Jane Doe for sure references Satanism and demons and all that, but the Blair Witch Project and The Witch never really reference the devil. The Witch does at the very end, but it's not even. It never says Satan except for when they're referencing scripture, and he doesn't go by the devil. He goes by Black Phillip. So it's not for sure that he's a demon or whatever. But if you're looking for something a little less intense, it sounds like The Craft is what you're looking at.
Well, I think the whole devil demon shit is just like a cinema Hollywood bullshit, because I think because their actual religion Wiccan, they're based off of nature, they really love nature. It's not necessarily devil evil shit, but that's the kind of the Salem witch trial shit. But if you Jennifer was watching Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the remake, and I was watching it with her, and it's dark, Satan's in there, and it's very demonic and shit. But I think that's a Hollywood trope, though. I do.
It's a really the new Sabrina is really cool. The demonic stuff that they reference is super on point. Instead of saying thank God, they're oh, hail Satan.
Hail Satan.
It's so funny. They do it so clean too.
I also think that Satan is a super relatable character. Even his origins in the Bible, in the Old Testament, all the way to his depiction in Paradise Lost, all the way to the modern depiction of the devil, is that he's a rebel. He would rather live in hell than follow God's rules, and I think that a lot of us can relate to that. I think he's a very relatable character, and I like Satan as a character way more than I would appreciate Jesus or whatever. Jesus is kind of a pussy, you know what I mean?
Actually, if you follow it to the letter of the law, the devil isn't a rebel. He's just a pretty boy, and he thought he was the hottest fucking dude in heaven. And then God was just all nah, bitch, ain't nobody hotter than me. And then he fucking
that's exactly what it is.
Well, so in Paradise Lost, it's a little bit different than that, but
the way that they reference Lucifer and Supernatural is a lot similar to what Darrin just said. Kind of he betrayed Satan by thinking he was better than him. He thought, Darrin said, he was a hot shit. God was no, you're not. You're just another archangel. Go to hell. What's hell? You're about to find out, homie.
But couldn't you still say that he's now the ruler of hell? At least he's in charge of something?
But does he really want to be in charge of it? Is the thing.
Yeah, it's like being the mayor of Detroit. You know what I mean? You don't want to be shit.
That was excellent. That's an excellent analogy.
I mean, to be fair, he's the ruler of hell, and now he has all these witches signing their name in a book. Yes, I will do anything for you, my lord, if you give me these powers. Which I guess is kind of cool. I mean, would you sign your name in a book for supernatural powers?
You mean Nicolas Cage? Ghost Rider?
That's selling your soul to the devil. I mean, technically. So what you do, you sign the book. Anytime he calls on you, and he's like, "Hey, yo, I need you to go kill this person." You're like, "Oh, okay, I'll go kill him," and you get to keep your powers. If you don't, then you're probably gonna die and he's gonna take your powers with you.
Well, so the signing your name in a book thing, it keeps showing up in a lot of witchcraft stuff, though, because in The Witch, she does the same thing. Before she can turn into a witch, the main character at the end, when she finally gives in, spoiler alert, sorry, but you should have seen it, it was 4 years ago, when she has to sign her name in a book. So apparently that's something that Satan does a lot, where he's like, just give me your autograph, and then boom, you can be in the club. But so the way that it's the way that it comes out in Paradise Lost, which is a 15th century depiction of the Garden of Eden and of all the lore of Christ and God and the devil before that. No, there's no Christ yet, but the God and the Devil, the way it's depicted in Paradise Lost, which is a lot cooler than any of the stuff, the pretty boy stuff that I just heard, is that there was a fucking war between, like Satan went around to all the archangels and he was like, dude, aren't you tired of this fucking shit? Like, aren't you tired of listening to this asshole talk all the time? And now he's created humans and he likes them more than us, which is bullshit, because we've been his homies since fucking day one. We were with God, and now he has these humans that he cares more about than us. And he, like, assembles this army, and there's this huge fucking battle between God and his archangels, Michael and Gabriel and millions of others, and then the rebellion, Satan and all of his archangels. And when Satan loses, they all get sent to hell. But Satan finds a bridge that leads back to the Garden of Eden, which is where he turns into the snake and convinces Eve to eat the apple. So I think that's a lot cooler than, like, being a pretty boy and being like, no, I'm better looking than you are.
So it's like, so you ever seen Dogma?
Yeah, I love Dogma.
Yeah, it's like the same, like, principle, like, what was it, like Matt Damon and Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck. It's directed by Kevin Smith.
Yeah, and they're jealous of humans because, like, they know that God likes them more, so they want to become human, and, like, so that's how they rebel against God, you know, like, to try to, you know, get back at him or whatever for liking humans more.
Yeah, so that lore is based in the Paradise Lost story, because in Paradise Lost, Ezreal, who is played by Ben Affleck, and Loki, who is played by Matt Damon, are both named as archangels that side with Satan and are cast into hell, and then their only desire is to feel God again, which they're banished from doing. So all that shit is super fucking metal to me, like a lot more metal than, like, the Bible or Jesus or, like, forgiving people and shit. Like, I want to hear about fucking archangel wars, fucking demons stabbing each other and shit. That shit's fucking dope.
What about South Park Gay Satan?
Gay Satan is fucking hilarious.
I love Gay Satan. Fucking hilarious. No, Saddam.
When Man Bear Pig kills him.
It's like,
oh no, Satan.
So Freddie was asking, what was that movie Stigmata? Was that having to deal with witches? No,
that was
when you get signs, like, you start becoming Jesus, so, like, you start getting the thorns on your head. And
the stigmata specifically is starting to bleed from the palms of your hands and the middle of your feet. That's what stigmata means.
But I thought it was also the thorns on your forehead, too.
Nah.
That's part of the movie. That's not part of the actual stigmata.
Oh, well, fuck me, right?
Well,
that movie's cool, though.
What the
Patricia Arquette.
Jesus is getting dicked on again.
Yeah, he had a good game when everybody was watching him, and now just dick.
There you go. I got one kill.
I'm so sober, Jesus, and it's all your fucking fault.
Take a shot. That was one kill.
Yeah, but you have to get to 2 kills.
Oh.
Yeah.
You still got time.
Just, Jesus and I'll run Survivor next. You guys can see Jesus run Survivor.
Fuck did he go?
Yeah, Jesus is not doing very good today, guys.
I told you from the beginning of the thing, I'm not very good at this game.
I mean, he's not telling us, he's telling the audience, and we get people in, like, we've got more people as we've gone, so I guess if they didn't hear it, they just shouldn't be expecting very much from you.
So, Jesus, if I may ask, if you can gently remove the penis out of your mouth, what is your depiction of a witch?
Do I have to put the penis out of my mouth?
He's like, I'd much rather keep it in there.
Hold on, I'm getting wrecked here. Hold on, let me figure out.
We're gonna talk we're gonna talk about the witch. Have you seen
Hocus Pocus? He's like, my favorite witch is Hermione Granger.
Oh yeah, how do I drop him? How do I drop him?
Same.
Circle?
Well, yeah, I mean, I was making fun of him, but also yes. Hermione's great.
All right, there you go. There's a
lot
shot.
of different reasons.
2 kills.
Second kill there. So we're gonna go and take a shot. If you are joining us at home, you're welcome. If you have to work tomorrow, if your boyfriend or girlfriend is looking at you sideways for drinking too much, tell them that Death by Daylight told you that you could take a shot and get drunk with us. Freddie says, to anybody new to the group, he's horrible if you haven't noticed.
Shots.
Thank you, Freddie.
That makes me feel better about my gameplay the past couple weeks.
There have been... I've seen good comments about your gameplay.
To be fair, in Jesus' defense, he doesn't really play the hag. That's actually one that I tend to play more with.
Oh, Juan just wanted to casually bring up that he mains the hag.
There you go.
Yeah, basically.
You got 3 kills?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, let's take a shot before we have to take another shot for the 4th kill if he gets it, so... cheers, boys, to witches and witchcraft, and, maybe some water-dwelling banshees that we might talk about here in a little bit.
And also because, Hail Satan, cheers.
Hail Satan, let's cheers to that. Hail Satan, boys.
Pretty boy Satan.
Hey, don't you call him that.
Holy shit, Jesus is gonna get a fucking 4th kill.
Oh shit.
So Freddy asked us what we're drinking.
Me, myself, I just took a shot of, what is it called again? El Padrino de mi Tierra.
No, he got out.
Anejo tequila.
Jesus Christ, I gotta buy you guys some tequila. Like, you guys are fucking killing it without, like, uses without me, bro. You need me.
You want me to go drink my
We do fucking need you, Darrin. My liquor choices are garbage without you. I will tell you that right now.
I mean, I have a bottle of 1942 if you want me to switch to that. Fuck.
Why do you have a bottle of 1942?
Why not?
Ooh, them's fighting words.
I'm just saying, it's like a fucking expensive ass bottle just having.
This guy is just gonna wait in the
locker.
Yeah.
Once you see the birds go on his head, buddy, pull him out. Freddy's drinking some 1800 Anejo.
I am drinking, Freddie, I'm drinking Melicorn Kentucky whiskey. It was given to me by a dear friend of mine. Juan is drinking a Sol Michelada. And, Derry, I forgot what you're drinking, bud.
Well, I was drinking rum, but now I'm back to Torres brandy.
Brandy. That's what we like to hear from Darrin, is that he's drinking brandy.
Yes, sir.
Hail Satan, Luis. Thank you. Thank you, Luis. Hail, yes. Hail Satan.
Hail Satan.
Yeah, so we've talked about The Witch. Can we talk about the Blair Witch Project just for a couple of minutes here?
Did you guys ever see the remake?
Nah.
It's a sequel.
Ah, damn it.
No,
it's a sequel, not a remake.
Hey,
that first movie is one of the cool, like, here's another, like, taste thing that I don't think everybody agrees with, but I love found footage horror. I love it. Bad found footage horror, good found footage horror, in between, I'll watch all of it. I don't love all of it, but I'll watch all of it. And it started with the Blair fucking Witch, and so that has to be a top probably 5 or 10 horror movie for me as well.
I'm gonna take another shot.
The thing is, it was a great movie. The only problem is that Hollywood saw how much money it made, and they just ran with that trope and started doing that shit. Like, they just killed that trope, that thing.
They did that whole fuck it till it dies thing where they were like, we're just gonna fuck this thing until it makes so much money it's dead. But then also it kind of died out for a while and then was brought back to life by Paranormal Activity. And we can talk about that a little bit too, I guess. But let's go ahead and get our next shot. For fuck's sake, I should have been taking smaller shots. Because I had zero faith in Jesus. So Freddie just brought up VHS. Love VHS, buddy. Absolutely, really great films. The first one I like better than the second one, but they were both very good. And I like that they're in vignettes. Like, I like that they're like sections of stories as opposed to just one long story. I really like that form of storytelling as well. So let's go ahead and take this shot. We've talked about, Jesus, what are you drinking? Because we haven't gone over it the second time.
You know what? I was drinking the Claw earlier, but let me get a celebratory shot. Just give me one quick second, boys. I'll be right back.
Yeah, Jesus fucking pulling his dick out. I love it.
Pulling his dick out.
I mean, that's what he's doing. He's going like, fuck you guys. Fuck you guys. Now I have to take a shot.
Did you guys notice, though, he was getting dicked on heavily, and then I called him out on it, and then he got a fucking 4K.
Like, yeah.
I actually really like that. I like that he's taking it seriously once he gets called out. Like, that shows a competitive edge to me.
We should do that to him every time we play Survivor with him.
Right?
Like, hey, bro, you suck, and then we'll...
So everybody, we're gonna move to a Survivor game. Not like you don't have to leave the channel or whatever, but instead of Killer, Ernie and Jesus are gonna play a little Survivor, and so you can see, because apparently he's bad at that too. So you guys can see the difference between Ernie and Jesus playing Survivor. Manny says we do tell him that, and it doesn't work.
He's not wrong, man.
Yeah. If I'm being honest, Manny, I've heard you're not that great either. But, you know.
Manny will call out shitty killers, though.
Manny's our goon. He's our goon.
What does that mean? I know how it is. I know how it's a hockey term.
So if we get a toxic... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, go for it. You got it. Take your in.
No, normally when we get a toxic killer who's just like camping, basically, camping in Dead by Daylight is basically when you hook somebody and you just hang out around that person who got hooked to make sure that they die, instead of what you're supposed to do if you're actually good is hook them and just leave that area to go look for other people.
Well, not really. You have to go do gen pressure, like pressure them off with the generators.
Well, yeah. Yeah, well, basically when that happens, and the killer tends to be toxic, Manny will be our go guy to basically talk shit to the killer. He'll send them messages and he'll be like, yeah, you're a fucking pussy, like, camping ass bitch.
Yeah, this game sounds like a lot of fun to be a part of.
I'm assuming you guys took your shot already?
No, we were waiting for you.
Okay.
I actually, Manny, I take it back. That actually sounds really great. Like, that's my role on a hockey team, so I get it, and I appreciate that you're an enforcer. I like that a lot. Not that you can enforce in beer league, because if you fight anybody, they kick you out, but I appreciate the goon role in any sport or game. What are you drinking, Jesus, now that you're back with your celebratory shot?
I'm going to be taking a shot of El Padrino tequila.
Get him, Darrin.
I've never even actually heard of that shit, bro, so I don't know how bad that is.
It's not bad at all, honestly. It's like the think of like Don Julio,
Quiet, salty lady. Motherfucker.
But Total Wine decided to make like their own brand. That's what it is.
Quiet, salty lady.
I'm finna go get me a salty lady now. You salty man.
I like how Ernie just put me on blast. He's just like, Jesus is drinking the great value brand tequila from the liquor store.
I'm drinking it too, buddy. Don't worry.
All right. It's pretty good. I like it.
Dude, I'm drinking fucking mellow corn. Okay, this whiskey. When nothing else is on special, ask them for mellow corn, and they'll be like, "Fucking really? Like, are you sure?"
Here's a free shot, buddy.
Yeah, just, Manny says he's drinking a Salty Lady Michelada. Cheers, and thank you, Ernie. Cheers, buddy.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Cheers, everybody, and everybody back home. Hail Satan. Let's just keep doing that as our cheers for the episode.
Satan.
Hail Satan.
I have a bottle of Monte Lobos, too, if you want me to start drinking that instead, Darrin.
Monte Lobos. Actually, wait. I'm trying to remember what the fuck that is.
Black bottle mezcal.
Oh, yeah, that's just good. What are you talking about? Yeah, it is good.
Oh, I have some.
Yeah,
Freddy.
Yeah, don't be a bitch.
Freddy, Melicorn is a whiskey that's made out of corn, okay? It is delicious, it is good for the environment, and it is 100 proof for about $9.
It's $9.99 at your local Total Wine.
Boom, baby. $10 bottle, 100 proof.
It's the cheapest fucking corn whiskey you can get, bro.
And when I would perform at El Velvet Elvis, when I would play music there, Patrick would hand me, leave the bottle there and be like, just tell me how many fucking shots you took at the end, and fucking we'll charge you, because he didn't have time to come back every time I wanted a shot.
I hope Caesar doesn't listen to this fucking podcast.
I'm sure Caesar does not listen to this podcast. Actually, I'm not sure, but even if he does, that was a story I made up that literally has nothing to do with Patrick or his liability.
That sounds like something that dude would do, so that's why I'm just saying, yeah, you probably did that shit.
I love Patrick, who we were also on a podcast with at one point, and he just helped me out, helped me get those pre-show jitters down. Sometimes helped me too much, and then I couldn't really play that well, but it's all good. Natter Days and Melicorn, that's what I'm drinking at El Velvet Elvis.
So I want to ask everybody watching, do you, hold on real quick, made in your neighborhood bathtub fucking Freddy?
Hell yeah, that's that shit that I like, boy.
I want to ask everybody, do you want me to play as a bunny with green ears or pink ears?
Bunny with green ears, bunny with pink ears. Go ahead and vote down in the comments if you feel so inclined. Also, feel free to tell us what you're drinking, or feel free to talk about or mention your favorite witch depictions, either whether it's a movie or a show or a story you heard. Just give us the title, and we'll see if we can talk about that for you. And now we are going to move on to our bonus segment. We might circle back to witches if it gets there, but we promised that we would keep episodes, at least every once in a while we would talk about more local things as opposed to things that are either national or globally recognized. And this week we are doing La Llorona. Let's get this out of the way right at the beginning. We are not talking about the fucking horrendous movie with all the white people in it.
The what?
Yeah, I mean, like even the Mexican parts of it were super hoagie. I mean, hoagie? I got Philly cheesesteaks on the mind. They were super hokey, like the whole limpia thing with the fucking egg, and I was like, come on, bro.
That really is a thing that they do, though.
Yeah, but how many times have you actually seen that in your fucking life, Juan?
Twice.
Holy shit, I was expecting 0.
Twice. I've actually... My grandma did that shit. Believe it or not, it's very, very fucking common in Mexican culture. Like, the whole limpia thing. But, like, a lot of it is a scam, too, because...
I'm sure more than a lot of it is a scam one.
Why an egg?
I don't really know, man. But there's a lot of weird little things that they do.
So my family's super Catholic.
Super Catholic? They're Irish too, bro, or what?
They're super Catholic. They have a lot of Catholic tendencies.
I thought I heard you say super cocklith.
To be honest, Juan, I don't even know what that means. Yeah, so they never, like, even though my family's also super Mexican, they never fucking put up with any of that, or at least did any of that kind of stuff. And I know they burn sage in the movie. I know that's super common as a practice. I get it, but we're not talking about that movie. That movie was absolutely fucking garbage, and not even just because of the way they depicted the culture, but the way they depicted La Llorona, and the fact that it was just a really terrible movie all around. The jump scares were bad and really not even existent. The soundtrack was bad, the lighting was bad, the mood was bad, none of it was good. So we are going to talk about the actual Llorona, and Juan, our apparent resident limpia witness, has some experience. With you have family, right, that claims to have seen her. Okay, so first of all, Juan, tell us what La Llorona is.
Well, basically, I guess like the basic story, because there's a lot of different variations, but the main one that everybody's familiar with is basically it's this lady who drowned her children in a river, and basically she regretted it soon after, so her spirit roams around rivers, basically crying, weeping, saying the whole "ay mis hijos." So if you don't understand what that means, she's basically crying for her kids. She's weeping for them. So that's basically like the main story. But it's she's basically like the Mexican version of the boogeyman. For obviously, if you're not Hispanic, you don't know this, but if you are, you've already heard this before. I don't know if have any of you guys lived anywhere near like a canal or a river? I know we all live basically next to the Rio Grande, but do any of you guys?
Ernie for sure. Ernie for sure has lived by a canal.
Did you ever get scared as a kid, like, you know, parents telling you like, "Oh, La Llorona's gonna get you if you don't get your ass inside," or anything like that?
Oh yeah, fuck yeah, dude. Every time, like, it was like, me, I don't want to go inside. If you don't, it's gonna get you.
For me, it was a cucuy though.
Yeah, so I was gonna bring up, like, I think the cucuy is like closer to the boogeyman, but
yeah, you know what? Yeah. La Llorona would be more like Bloody Mary, but
yeah,
minus the whole ritual of like saying it, you know, like Candyman. But yeah, I mean, as a kid, I was fucking terrified as I lived.
We have a little thing here in the chat. There was a poll, real quick, before we continue on the La Llorona. If y'all want to hear Josh do the rest of the podcast with an Irish elf accent, say yeah. We got a lot of yes.
Oh boy. I'll do a little bit. I can't. If I try to do it the whole podcast, my voice will be absolutely wrecked. But I'll keep it up for a little while. So why don't you fucking tell us about the La Llorona around the canals? Oh, you see the canals around you, and the woman's coming down, and she's got her bloody fingers all around your shirt, and there's little blood marks there where the hand should be. How do you feel about La Llorona, and would you ever try to go down to the river there?
Can you do the other one though, the other accent? Because fuck, man, that's killing my ear.
Holy shit.
So fuck invited Mrs. Doubtfire.
Irish Mrs. Doubt, yeah.
Oh, fuck.
You're just a wee lass.
Do you ever get scared at night? Do you ever get scared at night when you're sitting there in your wee bed, little one, maybe 7, 8 years old, and you're sitting there and you've got your head on the pillow and you start thinking about a lady crying outside your window? How did that make you feel as a wee lad?
Oh my fucking God. I don't know why it reminds me of Chibs from Sons of Anarchy, if you've ever seen that.
Yeah.
But no, as a kid it used to scare the shit out of me, because I briefly lived by some canal over there in the Lower Valley area, next to this elementary that I used to go to called Cedar Grove. And at night, like, if I looked out the window I could see the canal, but then my mom would always tell me stories about when she was a little girl. There's one story that she said that I'll make it brief, but like when her and my aunt were little girls, they were probably like 12, 13 or so. They lived in Juarez, and basically my grandma sent them out to go buy, I don't know what, from the store. You know, all kids over there, like, hey, go buy this and that. Mm-hmm. And they took a long way, and it started getting dark, and that apparently my mom was being mean to my aunt, because my aunt she was a chubby lady, I mean girl, and she still is. And my mom used to make fat jokes on her and pinch her. And, like, you know, she was a little bit of a bully towards her. And at that point, my aunt basically started crying, and she ditched her. She left my mom behind, and they were walking by some canal. And my mom, I don't know if it's true, you know, but she claimed that she was walking by herself, and it was dark, and she had lost my aunt. And next thing you know, she started hearing, like, a woman crying. And that she was like, what the hell? And so basically she turns around, and from a distance she sees like a dark figure, like somebody kind of like cloaked up, and that the crying got like really hysterical. And that when she, like, that person like lifted her head up, she just saw like a pale woman. And my mom said at that point she just like fucking started running, and like, and it gets interesting because, and I'm gonna tell you a story that happened to me that's very eerily similar, and it's up to you if you want to believe it. But yeah, that happened, and then that she turned around and that woman was gone, and shortly after that's when she caught up to my aunt. And my aunt was like, no, I didn't hear anything, you're crazy. And my aunt started making fun of her as payback, you know, for talking shit to her. So that, my mom always told me that story. So after that, I was always fucking terrified. Like, hey, I'm gonna see this. And speaking of Blair Witch real quick, I used to be scared of La Llorona, and then Blair Witch comes out. So I was like, oh shit, this chick's gonna come out from the sky and take me. So anybody who knows me, I'm a very paranoid person, so that only made it worse during my childhood.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph, that's the understatement of the years, isn't it, boyo?
Yeah, so when I, about 2013, I actually had a similar experience. I had gotten off of work. I had gotten out like around 2 a.m. and at that time, my wife was pregnant with my son. And we were staying at my grandma's because my grandma wanted to take care of her while, you know, because it was almost time. And so I would go over there, and again, my grandma lives by the lower valley, so I started taking some back roads. I don't know if there's this street, long, empty-ish street, like if you're going towards like Fox Plaza area, there's like some back road, and there's like this long-ass canal. And again, I started thinking about that shit. And I remember I was driving home from work. This was like, probably around the time I got there, it might have been like 2:30 a.m. or so. So I'm driving, and I shit you not, like, again, you don't have to believe me. If you don't, that's cool. But I see a robed person, an old lady on the side of the road, walking. And so I'm like, wait, what the hell is like this old person doing walking this late at night? So I remember looking through my rearview mirror, and I start slowing down, and I'm thinking, should I turn around, maybe off for a ride, or should I be Hispanic and just keep driving and say fuck that? So I was like, I look, and this person does the same exact thing, and I had actually forgotten what my mom told me, but she does that same thing where she looks up, I see a pale face, and I just see black, like black ice, like, you know, none of that whole white part in the ice.
You saw black eyes?
A bunch of, yeah.
That was just somebody's fucking Thea with a face mask on, bro.
It could have been.
It was a chola with the extra white face paint.
Yeah, probably, man. I mean, it is.
Don't even bring up cholas right now.
But anyway,
hey, fool,
it was an old lady. She looked maybe like in her maybe 70s, mid 70s or so. And I was like, what the fuck? And so I'm like, fuck this. I just start driving, and I look back, and I see nobody there. I don't know. It could have been a prank. It could have been somebody who was on something. I don't know. But that shit scared the shit out of me. And that whole witch thing, like, it's always been in, like, I mean, I'm sorry, witch thing, the Llorona thing. Like, it's always been something that, like, has freaked me out since I was a kid. But, yeah, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people, especially us, you know, Hispanic people, have experienced that or heard about that. Just as much as, you know, white kids hearing about the boogeyman and whatnot.
I definitely heard about. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's cool, man. I think La Llorona was probably like the thing back in the day. You know, like you don't behave, you don't come inside at this time, like you're fucked, bro. Like.
Yeah, because later on they started adding to it that like, nah, she just doesn't hang out by a canal. Like, if they're out late at night, she's roaming the fucking streets, you know. But they're not. Their parents just start adding shit to it.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely like a fear tactic to get us to behave. I mean, like, you know, I think everybody used it. I definitely heard a lot about the kukui too. Like, I definitely heard, like, if you don't behave, Kukui's gonna come get you. If you're not home at the right time, Kukui's gonna get you. But La Llorona always freaked me out more than the Kukui, just because the Kukui, it doesn't...
Like, what is the Kukui?
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, is, like, La Llorona has, like, a very specific, like, look and feel, and she even has, like, this thing where, you know, you hear her crying and you're fucked. The Kukui, I mean, never heard, like, what he looks like, or, you know, when he's gonna show up or whatever. It's not like the Babadook, you know what I mean, where he has like a very specific thing he's got going on, or even the Boogeyman or Slenderman is one of my greatest fears is Slenderman. So
Slenderman,
you're scared of a tall, skinny man?
Yeah.
Dude, Slenderman fucked me up. So there's that video on YouTube where, and we won't get too far away from the subject, but if you haven't seen it, go watch it after you're done with this. There's a video on YouTube that has, so that it has the Requiem for a Dream music, the bottom, 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 like that creepy ass fucking music, and it's telling you, like, it's showing you photographs of, like, look, this is a picture of a bunch of kids on a playground, and then you can see Slender Man in the background, and then boom, all those kids disappeared, they're all dead. And then at the end of it, it has this recording of like these police interviewing this guy, and they're like, where's your daughter? He's like, I fucking told you, Slenderman came and he got her. And he's like, he's coming here, he's gonna get us. And there's like all this music, and like I know it was fake, but it really freaked me out. And I think about Slenderman a lot. Also aliens, but apparently they're real, so I should be a lot more afraid of them than Slenderman. So
you know what's a better movie than La Llorona movie, which I haven't even seen it, but I've already read up on it and I heard it is trash and all that. Mama.
Mama is so good.
It's a really good fucking movie.
I saw La Llorona last night just to see what the hell it was about, and it was very disappointing. I think Velma should have kept her glasses on. And
she's a rocket, though, huh?
She really is.
For any of you, if anybody of you listening don't know what a rocket is, or you don't watch Letterkenny, a rocket is a really attractive woman.
Speaking of rockets, you want a good witch movie? Practical Magic, bro. Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman. Nobody talked about that one.
Sandra Bullock.
There was actually a comment from Manny. He's saying, Josh, didn't you have witches in your neighborhood?
I don't want to talk about it.
Ooh, I do. I want to hear this.
Let's talk about it.
So, my mom again, she's very Catholic, and so she honestly believes. I'll try to make this as brief as possible, but she honestly believes that God is protecting her and all that stuff, which is great. It helps her be a better person, and it helps her not be scared, and that's great. But she's also not. She's not a good liar. She's not a good storyteller. And she doesn't make things up. Like, never have I heard her, like, make something up just for shits and giggles. And she apparently had an encounter with our neighbors when we moved into the house. We moved into this house when I was 7 years old. This is gonna date me, but that was 21 years ago. So, and before I could understand what was happening when I was, like, 8 or 9, she had an encounter with some of our neighbors where she told me, look, don't go to that house, don't play in front of that house, don't go around that house at night. If someone comes out of that house and they start to talk to you, you run home and you come and tell me immediately. She had never said anything like that to me in my entire life. She had never reacted that way to anything as far as I knew. And eventually, when I was closer to 15 or 16, those women that lived in that house came to our door, and they knocked on our door, and I opened the door, and they were like, "Hey, we're your neighbors, and we were just wondering if we could talk to your mom or dad." And I turn around and I'm like, "Mom, there's people here to talk to you." My mom comes out and she sees them and like sees who they are, and she like grabs me by the shirt, which she is not the kind of person that does that. My dad is the person that disciplined in my house, so any of that kind of stuff was done by my dad, not my mom. She grabs me by the shirt and pulls me behind her, and then she closes the door and locks it and tells them to go away. Again, I've never seen her react to anything like that before in my life, or since then in my life I've never seen her react like anything like that. She refused to talk to me about that incident for until I was probably like 17 or 18. And then those people in that house, eventually there was a triple homicide in that house involving those two women.
What?
And after that happened, after the triple homicide happened, my mom told me, because I was like, yo, like, obviously you knew something before this happened, because I remember that day when they came over. And she said, look, I know evil when I see it. I know when something's wrong when I see it. Those women were products of the devil. They were products of something evil that I can't explain. I just know it when I saw it. I saw it in their eyes. And eventually used the word witches at some point. And that's my witches story. But I never had any proof. And then, I mean, when I saw them, they just looked like ladies. Like, they didn't look... I never got that vibe, but my mom was really, really fucking freaked out by them, so...
Holy shit.
Alonso also said that he had a Slender Man-like encounter before the Slender Man thing was even brought about by the internet. We'll have to have you on sometime, Alonso, to tell us that story, because I'd love to hear it. Maybe we'll have a Slender Man episode and you can be on that episode.
And I have a story for that too, because
for Slender Man?
Not Slender Man, but it was a tall ass fucking dark figure, and it sucks 'cause I actually had a picture of it on my old phone, but it broke. But long story short, my old cameras at work, I actually had picked up a tall figure just standing in front of one of the cameras, and it was crazy because I went out there to look. This was at work, and nobody was there. Then I go check the parking lot, empty parking lot. Check throughout the store, nobody was in the store, nothing. And then I go back to check that camera, and that fucking that frame was totally what's it called, static, when it's just snow,
right? Like
it had gone out. And I just, to this day, I couldn't explain it. But when I saw it on camera, I actually took a picture. And then that's when I went out to look and came back and it was gone. But it was a tall ass. It looked probably like, I want to say like an 8 foot tall person.
Jesus. Yeah, I mean, that sounds certainly a lot like Slender Man. Hopefully, we'll get to a Slender Man episode, because even though it's like an internet thing, I think it's a really fucking cool story. And then the story that it came from that a lot of people don't know, and then the stories that have come from it, again, outside of the really terribly made movie, there's a lot of really cool stuff that has been made about Slender Man. Manny says he's sorry, he just wanted to throw that in. Don't be sorry. Please keep interacting. I would not have brought up that witch's story if it wasn't for you, so thanks.
I actually have a question, though, for Darrin.
Huh? What?
Growing up, did you ever hear anything about La Llorona?
No, like I said, growing up it was always like the Chupacabra. Like,
oh shit.
Yeah,
never La Llorona?
Never La Llorona, man. I didn't grow up next to a canal, bro.
You calling me a river rat? Just kidding.
Goddamn water trash.
Water trash. Yeah, like Chupacabra, like fucking, and that's what I experienced.
Yeah, I mean, that's really... The Chupacabra for me was never... Like, I had heard of it, obviously, but mostly as a joke. Like, I don't even know what the story is behind the Chupacabra. The Chupacabraj.
I just remember he eats goats and he steals goats and shit. Like, that's all I remember that dude.
There was the story of the Rapacabra, the guy that used to rape goats?
Rape goats, please go
Goat
on.
fucker.
How close are we to the end of the Survivor game so we can figure out if we're gonna wrap this up or what?
This is about to die, but
I missed it.
The story of the Rapacabra is I'm pretty sure you've seen where there's the Indian man that's like, oh, go fuck a goat. This guy took it very literal, raping goats. Crazy story, huh?
That circles us back to the witch because again, Black Phillip the goat turns into a large man, and it's heavily implied that he has sex with the main character. So she fucks a goat as well.
She does?
Which, yeah, I mean, not on screen, but...
I did not pick that up when I watched it.
Yeah, at the very end, against... Spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, but at the very end, she signs her life over to Black Phillip. He then turns into a man, and then it's implied that he has a coven of witches who he has sex with. And she joins that coven, and they all start flying because of the flying ointment that she made out of her baby brother. Thomason is the name of the main character.
We promised everyone listening that we were going to talk about Coven, and we have actually not talked about Coven, but the reason that we don't talk about Coven is because it wasn't that good to talk about.
Yeah, I said from the very beginning that I don't like American Horror Story, but I mean, I guess if someone really liked it, they could talk about it to wrap it up, or we're just, now that the game's over, did anyone survive so we know what we're drinking or not?
No, we're fucked.
No, we're fucked, yeah.
Okay, so if you were looking forward to another drink, that's not happening. And I think we're gonna wrap it up. We've gone a long time now, and even though we are having a lot of fun and all that, we want episodes to be a certain length so that if people are going back and listening, they're not having to take on a 2-hour or 3-hour whatever chunk of information. So we're going to wrap this up. Thank you for hanging out. Please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. Please keep hanging out with us. We're going to keep hanging out, especially during quarantine, as long as this goes on until we're back to normal, which could be a very, very long time. Nobody knows, but we're going to keep doing this. And then even afterwards, we are going to do our best to continue to do this, to either find a good night for everybody, even though we all work, or you know, we're going to keep doing this. So keep hanging out with us. Keep looking for our posts talking about when, although it's especially during quarantine, it'll be 10 p.m. Mountain Time. Every Friday night we will be here talking about different stuff. We have not come up with a topic for next week, so that will be a surprise to you and to us, but we will make sure to let you know. And I'll give gamer tags again in case you want to add any of us to play. Everybody here except me and Darren plays Dead by Daylight, so you can play that or other stuff with me and Darren. Ernie is Lil Poochievert 666. Jesus is jaytexasmusic. Darren is theGravest, and Juan is Bunnies 2914. I am Kilgore_Trout10. If you want to play some fucking Stardew Valley or whatever with me. Yeah, again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Please come out and hang out with us next week and as many weeks as you want to after that. Thank you all for commenting. Thank you all for being involved in the conversation. We're having a lot of fun with that, and it's better if we can tailor the conversation to you guys at home instead of just talking about bestiality here, because it'll just go in a circle over and over again. Your last words, boys, individually, before I sign us off.
Yeah, so thank you, Alonso. Thank you, Freddie. Thank you, Manny. Thank you, Luis and Megan. Thank you, anybody else that I may have missed in the chat. You guys have made it a lot more fun for us and gave us stuff to like piggyback off of. Thank you.
Yeah, who is D Perk? Do we know who D Perk is?
That's me.
Darrin Perkins.
Oh, why are you? I was like, it made sense, but why are you commenting? instead of just saying things. Also, Corey Wooten, who has been here since the beginning. Oh, yeah. Thank you for hanging out with us since the beginning. And
fuck Corey.
Thanks for hanging out with us from the beginning. And there were no technical issues this week. Well, I mean, at the beginning there were, but we figured it out. Hopefully it keeps running this smooth. We had a great time tonight. Hopefully you guys did too. And hail Satan.
Hail Satan.
Yeah. Hail Satan. Bye.
Bye, guys. Fuck the free world. I'm